Welcome to the Los Angeles Lakers versus Boston Celtics documentary with me as your host. Now, as a backstory, many of you would think just because of, say, the 2000 finals for the Lakers would be a reason I would get into it, because I'm only 21 years old, which is very young. But no, it's not how that went. It's because of a video game. As many of you would be like, what? It was NBA 2K3. As of all people to be on the cover, it was Allen Iverson. You guys would think maybe Kobe or Shaq on the cover, but nope, it was Allen Iverson. And as you went into it, Lakers were the first team to be to play. I just picked them. Both these teams would start in the NBA in the 1940s, with the Boston Celtics starting in 1947 with 7 other teams, while the Lakers would come in 1949. As the 1960s came around, this rivalry would thrive, with Hall of Famers Elgin Baylor and the face of the NBA, Jerry West, who is the logo of the NBA from that point on to present day until they change it or whatever, while the Boston Celtics had Bill Russell, Hall of Famer Bill Russell, while in the 10 years of the 1960s, they would battle out in the finals each time, but every time the Celtics would come out on top. Even though this is sad for a Lakers fan, this is interesting for the entire NBA. As the 1970s would roll on, the Boston Celtics would go ahead in championships, while the Los Angeles Lakers would only have one championship in the entire 70s. But as the 1980s rolled around, the Lakers would draft a very special player. As the 1980s rolled around, the Los Angeles Lakers in the early 1980s would pick Irvin Johnson in the first pick in the draft from Michigan State, or better known as Magic Johnson, which the Lakers would go out and win about 6 championship games, a couple of them going against the Boston Celtics, in which the Lakers finally beat the Celtics in the finals after having a 0-8 record against them, which many people would never think would have happened. As we go on into the 1990s, both teams in the 90s would not really, they're in like rebuilding stage. While the Celtics would acquire 3 star players in the 1990s, while in the early 2000s, the Lakers would get free agent Shaquille O'Neal and shooting guard Kobe Bryant in about 1996, as these duo would get to their first championship in about 2000. As the early 2000s rolled around, the Los Angeles Lakers would have about 5 championships in the early 2000s, while the Boston Celtics would not have any until the late 2000s. As the late 2000s were around, the Boston Celtics and the Los Angeles Lakers would go back and forth between championships, in which caused a major fights during those finals. As I remember, Kobe Bryant got into a fight with either Ray Allen or Paul Pierce. I just remember like them pushing arms and just like any NBA player would do. But as a finals thing, the Lakers and the Boston Celtics are pretty even on championships. As the standings are for the Boston Celtics versus Los Angeles Lakers, the Boston Celtics are ahead by 17 championships, while the Los Angeles Lakers are by 16 championships. As these teams would face off in the final time in 2010, which the Lakers came out on top, while both teams are in the rebuilding stage right now. As this rivalry is a historical one for many fans of the sport, but this rivalry to me means somewhat fun, but at the same time there is some hatred into it. As when these games would go on, you'd see a Boston Celtics fan and think, I hate that guy to death. I want to fight him. I want to punch him. Like, that's how you feel. But after the game, you're just like, oh, you guys are, your team is good. Like, you respect them after the game. But like during the game, you're just like, I want to murder you. Like, just because of like the players that they had during the late 2000s, with Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce on the Celtics, while the Lakers had players like Kobe Bryant, Pau Gasol, Lamar Odom, players like that were just some of them older players, some of them young players, some been in the game for a long time and know how these games go and just would almost fight almost every time they would meet. This has been the Los Angeles Lakers and Boston Celtics documentary with your host here,